Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on Lockdown Friday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go across to our friends over in Adelaide. And of course, it is great to do an interview with this particular player. Of course, she is one of our Smash FM ambassadors over in South Australia. Of course, last time we had on the show was right at the start of the year in preparations of the NPL Women's, but unfortunately that season got cut short straight after that interview because it's great to have her back. Of course, her name is Daphne McLeod. She plays for the Adelaide Uni Women's National Premier League. Thanks, Daphne, for joining us.
No worries. Thanks for having me, guys.
No worries. Well, since we last had you on the show, everything has all gone pear-shaped this year. Obviously, your season, in regards to your team season, has been cut short with obviously with COVID. How has the last 6 months been?
Yeah, well, the last 6 months has been pretty crazy and like no other. And I think everyone is in the same boat, especially us in the Women's National Premier League here in SA. We had, 2 rounds at the beginning of the year, and then it was all cut off and we had 3 months off. And then all of a sudden the league resumed and we only had 2 rounds to play off and, try and get enough points to get in the top 4. And that's what our team's goal was, to reach in the top 4. And unfortunately, we had a number of really hard games, and a lot of them were really close. And we drew and lost by 1 goal on a number of occasions. So actually, our season has now ended, and we ended up finishing 7th, I believe. So we were in a fight off for relegation for a little while there, which was a little stressful for everyone, but we pulled through and ended up coming 7th. So we're very, happy with that, but obviously we fell short of our goal of being in final series, so that was disappointing. But I think as a team we definitely bonded over those challenges, and we're looking forward to giving it another go next season. The other really positive thing that we got out of our the last 6 months was our trip to the cup final, and the draw was a little interesting because the top 3 or 4 teams were on one side of the draw, and then the bottom 4 were on the other side of the draw. So that was that usually doesn't happen. So we were on the the bottom 4 team side of the draw, and we had a pretty fun run to the final. And both of our games went to extra time and then went to penalties, and so that was very exciting. Both games were a lot of fun, and making it to the final was a big achievement for us. And considering the year that we had with a lot of those losses, we were really, excited that we did have this big game to work towards, and that our season wasn't coming to an end like a couple of the other teams. And just being able to work towards that together, and knowing that we had a little chance in that grand final. Unfortunately, we did lose. We lost 2-0, but I think everyone is pretty happy with our result, because Adelaide City, my former team that we played, they've been prolific this year and the last few years. So we were pretty happy to keep them out for as long as we did. And that was, a massive team effort by us here at Adelaide Uni.
Now, when the lockdown happened at the start of the year, which wasn't long after we did the interview with you, I guess, were you optimistic that we're going to get back on the field again?
Yeah, I mean, when the lockdowns first happened, I think no one really knew what was going on, and I think the federation had a lot, had a pretty hard job with working out, what a good time was to bring the league back if we could. And I think we have been so lucky in South Australia to have not very many cases, and unlike you guys and our friends in Victoria where there hasn't been any soccer at all, I think we were all pretty happy to hear that the league was going to go back on. So I guess we were optimistic that it would be, given how well everything was going here in South Australia. But, as we know, that things can go downhill so quickly. So we didn't want to be holding our breaths, and we just didn't know if there was going to be a season at all. So I think for a lot of us, hearing that there was going to be a season was a really positive thing. And even if it was a little shorter, I think a lot of us were very happy and very thankful to even just get 2 rounds in.
With 2 rounds, normally I think it's 3 or 4 in the season. Great, thank you. Obviously got cut by 1 week. did you think that if you had another round that you could have got yourselves in the race for the top four?
Yes, this is funny because I think a lot of the girls in my team, especially, I think we could have done well with an extra round, an extra 7 games would have, like for any team, you bond over those next 7 games, you improve every week. There's more trainings all together, and I think we're finding our groove like right when the second round ended. So I think for us, we would have been very happy to have another round, and I think we could have jumped a couple places because the fight for the up until I think that the fight for the top four was really tight. Especially the second, third, and fourth. But also the fight for the bottom four was really tight. So I think, if we could have jumped a couple of places, like another round would have really helped. So yeah, I mean, it's disappointing not to have that extra round, but in the end, our season has finished around the time it usually does, given like the big break that we did have.
Now, the cup journey to the grand final. Now, you mentioned that he's got put into the bottom four based off ladder positions. And you mentioned about how close your games were, and trust me, following your team in the cup final was like a roller coaster. Sometimes your teams have been down at halftime, then somehow got back to win the game. You mentioned about that semi-final game against Fulham United, which went into extra time, which turned out to be in the dreaded penalty shootout, which actually interviewed Fulham United about the same thing not long ago. Tell us a bit. Now, I want to talk to you about the semi-final first against Fulham United. Now, I've got their view on what happened in the game and how stressful it was. How stressful was it from the winning team point of view?
Yeah, I mean, we have the benefit of hindsight. So, I mean, it's not stressful now, but during the game, I think we definitely went into the game knowing that we had a chance of winning. And I think Fulham would have the same opinion for their team. And I think it was a pretty even game. And we were, for us, we had a number of games leading up to this point where we were feeling really comfortable with our formation and we were, getting to be on the same page as each other, which is something we had struggled with before. So leading into the game, we were feeling like pretty good, and we just knew we had to finish a couple of goals and try and make it easier for ourselves. But the game, it was pretty stressful. It was 0-0 at halftime, I'm pretty sure, or maybe we were 1-0 down at halftime. You probably remember better than I do, but we went down at we went down 1-0 at some point because Fulham centre forward Fiona's got a ripper left foot on her, and she put one away. So we gave her a bit too much room there. But yeah, amazing strike, and we were down 1-0, but we just thought, this isn't the end. Like we can really do it. And I was sitting in the back line with Grace Abbey, who was my former teammate at Adelaide City. Now she's playing with us at Adelaide Uni, and at the back, she was just like, I'm so hungry for a goal. Like, I think we can do it. We really can get a goal. And I think we just had one opportunity where we had a corner and Grace just got her head on it and put it in the back of the net, and we all went wild. It was amazing. And then I think the rest of the game was pretty stressful, obviously, because both teams, no one wants to go to extra time. But I think, we knew that if we did go to extra time, we had it in us to pull it right to the end. And yeah, that's what happened. And both goalkeepers, Matilda for Fulham, she's amazing. I play futsal with her, and she's a gun goalkeeper. And so we've got Evelyn Goldsmith, who's also amazing. So we knew the penalty shootout was going to be pretty tight, and yeah, it was. So it was very exciting, and not very often do semi-finals or any cup games really go to penalties. So it was stressful, but it was very exciting, and a game that I really enjoyed playing. And to put away a penalty on top of that was extra special.
I was going to ask you, did you take a penalty shootout? So now, how for you when you took that? I guess how was your nerves and your heart beating?
Yeah. Oh well, I haven't taken with the cup rounds. We had 2 penalty shootouts, our quarterfinal and our semi-final. But before that, I hadn't taken a penalty in about 5 years because I missed back in the day, and I lost a game. So I never took a penalty after that. And so, you know, I think now that I'm a bit older and one of the more experienced players in our team, and, you know, I had, you know, bagged a penalty in the quarterfinal. So I felt pretty comfortable going up, and I just knew that I had to slot it away. I was not going to go for power. I was just aiming for the bottom corner. And thankfully, Matilda, I think she thinks she guessed the right way, but she just didn't quite get there. So I think going up to the penalty, strangely, I was really calm. I think a lot of people would feel quite nervous in that situation, but somehow I just managed to block it all out. And I knew I had practiced the penalty like hundreds of times, not quite hundreds, but many times. So I knew what I was doing, and yeah, I just knew I had to pass it in the corner. That's all I had to do. So, and thankfully I pulled it off.
Now, obviously, we're not going to talk too much about the cup final because obviously your team was on the wrong side of the result. But now, of course, you've been in a cup final before. Obviously, as you mentioned, for your former team in Adelaide City. Now, you've been on the right end of it. Obviously, now you've been on the wrong end of it as well. I guess, firstly, how tough was it to play against your former team in a game, obviously, to win it, to win the cup? How was it like as the game went on?
Yeah, interesting, because even back when I had played for Adelaide City, I think I was there for like 7 years, and the first 4 years, people who played in the league for a long time will remember this very well, and we were in the cup final for 4 years in a row, and we lost every year. So I have been on the losing end of a cup final before many times with Adelaide City, and then, you know, we had a bit of a reform and a bunch of new players came through, and we had a new coach, and we didn't lose a cup final after that, clearly. But being this year was, you know, very different, playing against my old team, and a number of girls on the Adelaide Uni team also used to play for Adelaide City. So I think it was a bit of we knew with the challenge that we were up for, but I think we had a small advantage knowing the team so well, and having played with the girls for so long. Like, I know each player's strengths and weaknesses, and the team's strengths and weaknesses quite well. And I think our game plan was to play to our strength, and I think we have quite a strength in defence, and we have had some of the lowest conceding rates in the season for every team. So we knew that was a big strength of ours, and we knew we just had to keep them out for as long as we could, and, you know, try and put, you know, 1 or 2 goals away on a mistake from Adelaide City, because I think we were realistic. We knew that we weren't going to break them down with, you know, some really great, beautiful looking play. Like, we knew that wasn't probably going to happen, as much as we, you know, would like that to happen. But yeah, we know that they're very disciplined and very well drilled, and the only way to really get through them was to, you know, capitalize on a mistake, or, you know, make something out of nothing. So I think playing against my old team was, you know, comparison to last year, I didn't even sit on the roster playing for the cup final. So just to be on the pitch and to play the full game, I was like very happy to do that. And, you know, it didn't matter that I could have been happy playing against any team, but, you know, it was nice to play against my old friends, and, well, they're still my friends, obviously, but, you know, it was good. And I knew that we didn't have, a lot of people would probably put money on Adelaide City to win that game, and obviously they did. So it was, you know, they are deserving of a championship because they are very, very good. Yeah.
Now, let's talk a bit about your team itself. Now, you mentioned there's quite a few from Adelaide City across to Adelaide Uni. I guess for you, how comforting was that for you, that at least you had some teammates you actually did know come across to Adelaide Uni? And how did you find your first year at Adelaide Uni?
Yeah, well, coming across to Adelaide Uni has been a really great change for me. And I think having a couple of people come across from Adelaide City with me, and also having a couple of former Adelaide City players at Adelaide Uni already, made the transition just that much easier, because, you know, coming into a new team, if you don't know anyone, it's just that much harder. So having friends in the team already And I kind of already knew Costa, our coach, a little bit here and there just from playing in the league. And I also know the reserves coach quite well, Diaz. He's my futsal coach. So having a lot of familiar faces just made it a lot easier to transition. And even the girls that I didn't know have been amazing. They're so friendly, and all, we all have such a good time together. So the transition has been quite easy, and I have really enjoyed my first year at Adelaide Uni. I think the team has a lot of potential, and we've got a lot of young talent coming up. So I think, with a bit more hard work and a bit more time together, we can really, get some results that reflect, our true spirit.
Great segue to my next question. You mentioned that there's some really good young talent in the team, and I've seen that by watching a lot of the highlights and live streams. Tell us, Cole, players in your team, especially the young talent coming through, that we should watch out for in the future.
Yeah, we've got an exciting team. We've got a couple of very exciting players. I'll tell you that. Firstly, we've got our midfielder Sasha Khoury, and she's like 15 or 16, and she's incredible. She made her debut for the senior team, I think just after the break or just before the break. I had never played for the senior team before, and she pretty much started every game since then. Just makes a massive impact, and she's got very good ball skills, but she's also got a lot of strength and a lot of determination to win that ball back, which I think can be quite hard to teach someone if they don't already have it. So she's been awesome, and she even bagged a goal or two as well. So she's had a great debut season in my opinion. And a couple of other young guns that we've got are Ellie Sparrow. She's one of our strikers, and she's also scored a couple goals this season. And she's good with both feet, and again, works really hard. So I think that's a great quality to have in a young player. We've also got Sophie Burke, who's our only left footer on the team, and plays up front. But she also took on a different role this season and actually kind of played a little bit as a winger in the midfield and defence. So I think that was a new challenge for her, and she really took that on and made a massive difference for us in the team, and was starting every game by the end there. So those are the big three I think would look out for in our team, definitely.
Now, I know at Adelaide Uni, of course, especially the junior girls program is doing pretty well. I think at least three of those teams won the premiership just recently.
Yeah.
I guess how good is that to see that development coming through at Adelaide Uni?
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's really great to see some of our junior teams winning their leagues. I think on a Wednesday night, a lot of the junior girls train right next to our pitch. So whenever we come out, we kind of see them, with their coaches and practicing, and even the really cute little under sevens train right next to our warm up, and sometimes try and get involved in stuff. So it's really cute. But yeah, any club is, the stronger that foundation with those younger players, the better the senior squad's going to be eventually. So I think for Adelaide Uni to have such a great youth development squad, and I think they've been winning a couple of years in a row now. To have that and to keep, going from strength to strength is really important, especially once those players become old enough to hopefully play in the senior team.
I guess for you as an experienced player, but also as a team, do you try to get to these junior games whenever you can, or at least help them out whenever you can?
Yeah, I can't say that we go to the junior games very much, I must admit. But we do have a lot of our fundraiser pizza nights where the juniors are around, and I know a couple of the girls in the teams, a coach or assistant coach, those girls. So I think there's definitely a nice connection going there with the senior team. Could be developed a little bit more, but there's definitely something going on there. And even in our cup final, a lot of the girls from under sevens and under nines, I think it was, they came out and walked out with us at the beginning of the game. So that was really special, and it's always nice, for parents to bring their kids and give them the chance to walk out with us. Because I think if you're, especially a young girl, and having, seeing the big girls, playing in a big final, I think that's really important for them, so they can see, maybe one day that could be me. Because I think I remember when I was that age and I never did any of that. So I think it's really important for them to have that visual, to think, one day it could be me walking out there with another young girl. Like, that would be special. So hopefully those girls, from getting to know us and knowing a couple of the players on the senior team, that's more of a clear pathway for them to the senior squad.
Now, of course, I'll finish off with a couple of lighthearted questions, which you know pretty well by now, hopefully. Who had the most embarrassing moments on the field this season, and what was it?
Oh, yeah. We have this, on a Wednesday night, we'll nominate someone who's done, had the silly moment of the week, and it's this like 80s retro Liverpool goalkeeper jersey, and I think it's the jersey's amazing, but it's like really thick and really heavy. So no one likes training in it, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't get washed. I just have to think back on who got that the most, and I'm pretty sure it was Grace Abbey, and she's always doing funny stuff. And even in that semi-final with Fulham, I think there was like one moment where her like scrunchie came out and she was just like running around with her hair down. Like, so I think that was a pretty funny moment. I'm not sure if she got nominated for the shirt that week for that, but she probably should have if she didn't.
Now, talking about the shirt, now it seems like this has become a bit of a common theme between your former club and now your new club. Which one was worse to, number one, have you got nominated and had to wear it for Adelaide Uni? And is there any difference to the one you wore at Adelaide City?
Yeah, well, luckily I haven't been nominated or haven't, been voted to wear the shirt just yet, maybe next year. But the difference between the two shirts is funny. Last year, at City, we Tiana, our captain, just bought this gross yellow shirt from Target or something, and you like write on the shirt like what you got it for. And I actually don't know what happened to the shirt, but I think our plan was to like frame it or something. But the thing with the shirt is that it never got washed, and it was like this thin cotton shirt, so it was really gross by the end. But it did have everyone's name and the reason why they got the shirt and a little picture. So I think like by the end of the season, it was like totally covered in like this black texture. So it was pretty funny to look back on, everything everyone had done. But whereas at Adelaide Uni, yeah, as I said, there's this like 80s retro, like orange and yellow goalkeeper jersey. And I think it looks epic. Like, I really like the jersey itself, but it is like, it's not something you want to wear every day. Like, you'd wear it to a party or something, like an op-shop party, not a soccer training.
Who's the comedian in the team?
Oh, comedian. Well, we got a lot of young players, so we have a few comedians. I think Gracie's definitely one, and two of our one of our younger players, Sophie Burke. I think she's definitely a comedian, and another player, Georgia Ionella. She's pretty funny as well.
Now, I know there's this thing called TikTok. So the question I'm going to ask you is, who's the best singer and dancer in the team?
Oh, singer and dancer. I haven't seen any of our team dance, really, or sing. So, actually, one of our girls in the reserves, Emmy Solio, she's actually a really good singer. So I would nominate her for this.
Now, is there anyone who did any pre-game songs before game? If so, who was in charge of it, and what was the worst song on it?
Yeah. Well, this is a big difference between my old team, who are all a little older, and my new team now, who are a bit younger. And for some reason, like every week in the change room, "Baby" by Justin Bieber would come on, and I'm not sure. Like, I know who's in charge of the music, but I don't know if they chose this every week or if, a number of girls wanted the song on the team playlist every week. So I don't want to dob the person in control of the music with that. But I think that just reflects the average age of our team, because that song would come on every week. And I'm like, I don't feel pumped up after listening to this. I just feel like I'm old now. But I think after Grace transferred to our team, she quickly took over the DJing responsibilities, and and it went back to what we would listen to at City, so that suited me pretty well.
Oh, I think that baby song has become a bit of a theme over there in Adelaide. We pop up song. Now, we'll finish off with these last two, which is now during the lockdown that you said, did you do any challenges, or if there was any, and what was the best one that you did?
Yeah, well, during the lockdown, we were pretty lucky, and we've got a lot of great staff helping out the team. So we all had a program to follow, and that was like a gym program and an exercise program, and a bit of a ball skills program. So we're all busy working away at that every week. And I think the club did the toilet roll challenge. So each of us had to like send in a video of us like passing the toilet roll from like one side of the frame to the other. Which is actually harder than it sounds. I thought that'd be easy and it would take like one take, but actually took like 4 or 5 because it's so hard to judge. It's so hard to judge the flight of a toilet roll in comparison to a soccer ball, and it's also a lot smaller. So it just goes in directions that you're not expecting. I guess it's like playing AFL or something, but so that was pretty fun, and actually the end product looks really good. So it's got all of the senior players in it, and I think a couple of our coaches in it as well. So it's pretty funny.
And of course, one last one. Did you try anything new in the lockdown? And is there a hidden talent that you didn't think you had?
Oh, I'm not so sure if I tried anything new, but I just did, got more into the hobbies that I don't have as much time for when the season's on. And so I took up hiking in the hills with one of my teammates. We did that every week. That was really fun. And so I think that's maybe my new talent, is just walking. What other things in lockdown? I did a bit of home yoga. That was fun. So I think those two are the biggest for me. Yeah, but not so much new things, but things that I got to do more of.
Well, Daphne, thank you so much for giving up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. It's great to have you back on the show again, and can't wait to hopefully get across to Adelaide myself next year, and hopefully get to watch you and your teammates in action in person this time instead of doing all this over Zoom. And but thanks so much, and can't wait to catch up with you in person once I go over to Adelaide.
Yeah, of course. No worries. Well, thanks for having me on the show, and thanks for following our team this year, even though it's been a different one, that's for sure.
No worries. And that's our ambassador there in South Australia, Daphne McLeod from the Adelaide Uni women's football team. Of course, make sure next year get down there and support the mighty Adelaide Uni in 2021. And of course, hopefully we'll get to see them back in the finals again in next season. There's more on the Smash Sport Show right after this. Don't go away. Here on Lockdown Friday.